One county in Georgia, one county, Floyd County, 2,600 votes on a thumb drive that were never counted and cast legally were found. The thumb drive was never entered into the computer to be tabulated. Out of those 2,600 votes, guess who won the most? Donald Trump. He won 1,800 of them. So a net gain of 800. This also, think about this, how could this impact the Purdue Senate race where he was very close not to being in a runoff with Jon Ossoff? And so will these votes, remember, this is not part of a recount.
No.
These are new votes that were on the thumb drive. Should they be put in the official tally now?
Here's the problem. This isn't a recount and we found a net plus 800 for Trump.
No.
This was, we found ballots that we have never found before. These ballots did not exist before. And now we are plus 800 for the president. So what does that tell you? What does that mean? That means that you've got to really dig deep into all of this because something's just not right in the process. And I think what we have to be clear here is that's why when people say, this is a futile effort, or why are you doing this? Precisely for this reason. And by the way, as Jordan just said, it could be outcome determinative on the Purdue race.
These are people who were completely disenfranchised had the ballots not been found, and who would not have had an opportunity to cast their vote for president and for secretary of for the United States Senate races with Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. This is unforgivable.
How many of those thumb drives exist in America? How many of those thumb drives exist in Michigan and Georgia and Nevada and Arizona and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania? Because if one in a medium to small size county in Georgia had 2,600 on it, 1,800 of which were for Donald Trump, by the way, then this election could be in a totally different place.
We're going to have to get into, when this is over, voter integrity issues nationally, because this is a serious problem. I mean, it is a really serious problem. You've got 2,600, I'm sure that's the tip of the iceberg, votes that were never counted.
What is happening in Nevada as we speak to combat that signature matching problem?
Part of the problem going forward to combat the current crisis that we have is that all of the ballots and all of the envelopes are controlled by the government, by the Clark County officials. Just yesterday, Clark County officials threw out an entire race that was on the ballot, the same ballot that had Trump and Biden on the ballot. One of the county commissioner races was thrown out because Clark County officials, which are completely controlled by the Democrats, they decided that this one particular county commissioner race was too close and the fraud was too widespread. And so they threw out this one county commissioner race and said, we're going to have to revote.
You understand what Rick just said, folks. In Clark County, Nevada, they've already thrown out one of the races because they said there's too much fraud. And yet they don't want to, yet we're having to challenge in court.
Later today, we will file another case which picks up on the fact that the Clark County officials have thrown out 153,000 ballots in one race.
On one hand, they say this election for county commissioners, it's corrupt, it's fraudulent, it's erroneous. But we can count the votes for President of the United States. I don't think anyone with a scintilla of intelligence can accept that analysis.
They're throwing out the votes of the race they want to overturn.
Right, but for fraud. Right there alone, all of those votes or none of those votes should be thrown aside. That should be it. If there's fraud, they shouldn't count for any vote. They shouldn't count for Biden or Trump.
There is no question that when Clark County officials, who are all Democrats, decide to throw out a county commissioner race, that the Democrat won because they don't have confidence in that race, the same races on the same ballot are all in question, and that is the Trump-Biden vote in Nevada.
Litigation issues are different in each state. Georgia's is different than Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's different than Nevada. That's why you have to go to court in the individual jurisdictions that are outcome determinative.